So we're here with Rilus. Rilus, there's a lot of talk about MSOs as if it's a new thing. This is old hat for you.
Yeah, so this has been exciting for me. I organized my estate planning practice as an MSO 9 years ago. I learned from the dentist is how I learned.
Okay.
So I learned I had private equity friends in Arizona in real estate.
Okay.
So I saw they were successful with starting a small fund at like 30 million and going all the way up through Blackstone up to like 13 billion.
Okay.
And Invitation Homes. So I was like, wow, private equity is the way to go. There's unlimited money there if you can organize and find a way to be structured to receive that money.
So was your MSO structuring deliberately built around private equity?
Yeah.
Okay. So how did that work and what came of it from a growth perspective?
So I guess going back further in my background, I've been in law firms for like almost 25 years. So 2002, I started at my dad's firm during college. I started working in estate planning.
Okay.
And I guess started kind of thinking about the industry. What's interesting about that time, 2002, that's when LegalZoom was early on the scene.
Yep.
So as I was in college, I was lucky enough to meet with a lot of attorneys and business owners, and they were worried about LegalZoom and the internet taking over.
Yep.
Fast forward, I became an attorney about 2008, 2009, and what I saw then is all the work that LegalZoom created. And also what I saw is that legal is going to be different. The old guys before LegalZoom, they could charge for contracts. Information wasn't freely available.
Right.
You had to go see an attorney in order to do something. The internet switched that. So I realized then, we have to be a service company. We're not just selling contracts.
Right.
They can all get the information. We have to provide value. So it shifted what the law firm looked like. And then kind of seeing a little bit further. So that's about the time I started seeing the private equity happening and starting. And I learned from a couple things. I saw in Europe they have non-attorney owners. I was like, okay, so other countries aren't as restricted as the U.S. is. And then I looked to see what was how they were doing it in medical and dental, because I know private equity was investing in those.
Yep.
So I found, I think it was North Carolina, they actually post a suggested dental practice management contract. They have an approved one. And it's the exact same issue. You can't have non-dentists own dental practices, at least in that state. So I took that, I'm like, this is perfect. I can just change this. Everywhere it says dental, I just change it to legal.
Okay.
That's interesting. And one of the things we talked about with some prior guests is kind of a theme here, and I think I'd love to get your perspective on this. So it's been around, this MSO stuff's been around in legal for a lot longer than a lot of people realize. Why do you think it's kind of flown under the radar, and what's changing now?
Yeah, so I was in the Legal Tech Show, I saw you there, I was in my outfit there, and the reason I'm wearing my brand here was to try to attract investors, let them know that I have an MSO, the whole thing ready to go. I think no one's just heard of it, right? Attorneys, especially estate planning attorneys, are really slow to evolve. This conference here it's mostly personal injury attorneys. They're at the forefront of marketing, advertising, and business.
Right.
So I'm grateful to learn from them. And this deal that kind of put on this conference, you just talked to Chad earlier today. I just heard him speak. Wow, powerful guy, awesome story, but it's really cool. He's blazing the way. You know, now that now attorneys can't say, well, no one's done this.
Right.
Now they have a model to point to. Now, last night I met a few people that already have MSOs as well. I met a guy, he's like, I didn't know it's called that, but yeah, we have non-attorney partners who have been managing the family law firm for 12 years.
Interesting.
That's really interesting because, to your point, this is very focused on personal injury, but maybe you can share some of your experience, obviously not limited to personal injury, and you mentioned family law, you mentioned estate planning law. Are there differences between those firms in terms of how the MSOs or the private equity people think about them?
I'm sure there is, the different types of law firms, but the basic structure is the same. So the idea is you don't have to be an attorney to run the business.
Right.
And there's actually people that are better than attorneys at doing all the business.
There's a lot of people who are better than attorneys at that.
Exactly.
As it
So
turns out.
So the whole idea, what I'm early at is like, okay, I'll just separate all my staff into this entity, and then I'm the only one in my law firm.
Is that why you did what you did?
Yeah, just to be ready in that model, to be ready to scale. Now, there's a lot of really successful attorneys here, which is really cool about this conference as well. You know, meeting people that I can tell they're the top dog in their market. You know, very, very big firms. Part of the challenges that they're having is if they consider changing to this model.
Right.
You know, so if they're going to sell a piece of their law firm to the MSO, a little bit more challenges there, but there's a lot of opportunities. So I see it as a way where it can help attorneys exit if they didn't have a retirement structure at all.
Right.
Yeah, you can correct me if I got this wrong. We've known each other from before meeting today. I know you're very tech forward. Are you the only attorney at your practice?
Correct.
And so one of my things that I've been talking about is this idea of the tech-enabled solo, right? And so you couple the economic resources and business acumen from private equity and an MSO, coupled with technology, you really can scale a law firm now. And so this idea of the tech-enabled solo, talk to us about your views on tech and kind of like what you're using and how that works.
Yeah, so my journey as a law firm, or as an attorney and law firm owner has been interesting. I'll be 45 here in a few days, so I'm considered exennial. But it's important. I remember life before the internet, but I basically always had the internet.
Yeah.
The last bridges.
So I remember working at my dad's law firm during college. It was all files. It was all paper.
Right.
They had a server. You know, it was very expensive. You know, there were the barriers to entry to start a law firm back then.
Right.
But even then, it's all comparative, right? That was still they were on the forefront. Back then, I was trying to fight them to go paperless. You know, scan everything.
Right.
You know, it's a good idea to
Fears
get
of
away.
the cloud.
Yeah. So I've seen that. You know, different transitions. I've always embraced technology because it's again, just like the personal injury attorneys, you know, they're using the latest tools, the latest and the greatest. I feel like other businesses are a lot better at it. We went to the legal tech show, and I've been kind of joking that legal tech's kind of an oxymoron. Where you have tech and then legal tech.
Right.
And even at the legal tech show, I learned probably more on YouTube about Claude and the latest in tech while I was there.
Right.
I got the specifics on legal tech there in the legal industry, but I feel like, so part of the reason I became an attorney to get into business of law, because I feel like it's a low bar, right? Like most attorneys are not very good at the business stuff.
Right.
So we get a lot of clients because we answer our phones and then we're nice.
And let's talk about this. You mentioned that, and that's why when we talk about this a lot, is that it's really a service business that happens to do law. Talk about how that works at your firm, like from a marketing standpoint, from a service standpoint, like what's it look like? How are people finding you, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so since we're a service, like I had a lot more staff and employees a while ago, and then I took the position, if they don't make my life easier, they don't exist. Like if they're adding this to stress,
Right.
And that kind of, I take that with potential clients too. I realize that if we're not a simple solution, if we're not really easy for them to work with us, they're going to go somewhere else.
Right.
So I was exposed to a lot of older attorneys, you know, saw how their approach is, and they're used to like just sitting back and waiting for people to come to them.
Right.
And a lot of them are like grumpy and not even nice because they're used to not being alternatives. I realize that if we don't answer our phone, they're going to call the next one on the list.
Right.
And
So how do you guys answer your phones at your firm?
so I have live people answer them as much as possible.
Are those, is that a team that you have in-house, or is that...
Third party.
In-house.
In-house.
I have in-house, and then to back them up, I've used all the options. At one point, I had a VA in the Philippines.
Okay.
They were great.
What's your favorite option? What's the best? In your opinion? In your experience? What is the best backup?
So what I moved to now, I use some of the U.S. companies, even the legal-based ones. They suck too. So they were putting my clients on hold for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And then when someone answered, they didn't know anything about my business anyways.
Right.
So what I went back to voicemail even because
Okay.
we weren't getting messages.
Right.
And then I went to voice AI,
Okay. What do you use for voice AI?
Go high level.
Go high level.
So
Okay.
it's great.
Okay.
It's awesome.
Do you use them for CRM too?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what I found with the voice AI, the people that don't like it are the people that we're just going to waste our time, right? The people trying to call up,
Right.
look for a free answer. But the people that are really interested in doing their own estate plan, or if they need help with a probate or trust administration, they're willing to give their information to that voice AI.
Right.
Even though it's a little clunky and it's gotten a lot better, but the people that are
It's gotten a
looking
lot better.
for help don't mind it.
At this point, it feels like my read, and we're kind of mired in this. I would be curious your take. The voice AI stuff is so good that it's table stakes at this point in time. It's an expectation. Do you agree with that?
That companies should have it.
Yeah, like it's
So I'm in estate planning. It's a little bit older. People don't like the technology, but
'Cause of your audience.
I'll agree with you. I feel like it's so easy to add on.
right.
And I feel bad for like these answering service companies. I think they're trying to pivot and evolve into voice AI.
Yeah.
I posted my part 3 reaction video from the tech show, and part of where I pushed back on, and one of these voice AI breakouts, one of the speakers was actually selling them, and someone asked like, how would I set these up? Like, can I do this myself?
Right.
And he's like, well, you should hire someone like that other vendor. And then I raised my hand. I was like, I don't know how to code. It's
Right.
really easy.
Right.
I just wanted to go high level said, do you want to do a voice AI? And I was like, yeah.
Let's do that.
And then what's cool about AI is you can use AI to program AI.
Yeah.
I use Claude to do a lot of it. And what I like about Go High Level is it's not a legal tool. There's a ton of consultants. So I have a Go High Level consultant that can help finish and build out.
How have you addressed security with AI?
I'm just careful with it, careful what I put into it. I use the business level stuff.
Okay.
And I say theoretically it's protected, right? Theoretically.
Theoretically.
You're taking reasonable precautions, that's what's required by the rules, not perfect. And I think that's an interesting point. Is like, we've had technology that's had risks forever, right? And even that's why we joke about the cloud and like folks that are, I'm 47, so we came up with the resistance to the cloud. And I remember Jack Newton talking a lot about this. He was a leader on making the transition from files, but.
Remember when people didn't understand what it was?
Yeah, well, the funny thing was, people, back to the security thing, people would be like, my files are way safer. And you see people with files like left out on coffee tables at Starbucks, and you'd see people leaving files in their car, and like, you're comparing that security to 128-bit encryption in the cloud back in the day. And I think we're going through an evolution of that. And as we all acknowledge, like, there are protocols and things you have to think about in terms of using it. But there's also this idea of like, if it's not 100% secure all the time, that's not really the standard that you're expected. It's a reasonable standard on security. And so, look, people got to learn this is new technology. People got to learn it. But I think that the fear around the security is, it's so reminiscent of the fears of the cloud and some of these earlier technologies. This is Lunch Hour Legal Marketing, and so we're a marketing-focused podcast, and we don't have, to be honest, it's great to have you because we don't talk to a lot of estate planning attorneys. I'm super curious, like, what kind of KPIs you look at from an estate planning practice standpoint.
Tons. I'm a data nerd, so I have a bookkeeper in the Philippines, and I meet with her once a week, and I go over tons of stuff. But some of the key things, I look at like number of leads.
Okay.
And then I look at a lot of data with her, and then I go to my team and we have our scorecard. So the scorecard has a little bit less because I want them to be more focused. So we look at collections. That's our number one, right? We want to look at money coming in.
Yep.
And then a good leading indicator is like number of leads, and then also look at like number of phone calls, number of conversions.
Yeah.
all of
Where are
those
some of
things.
your major lead sources?
That was my next question, yeah.
Lead sources, so about half are existing clients and referrals.
Okay. Do you do anything to encourage that? Do you thank you gifts? Do you stay in front of them with email campaign? Do you advertise your previous clients? What does that look like?
Yeah, so no gifts. I try to give the best service, I would say.
Okay.
Kind of the obvious answer, right?
Sure.
So we do estate planning. when I learned the business, it was just like 2 meetings. It was like you design, and next one you sign and do the funding, talk about what goes into the trust. I found that was, people were missing it. People weren't funding their trust. So I created a 3rd meeting for that. And part of that is, the old school attorneys are like, oh, you're spending more time. But it's like, by doing so, I'm getting a deeper relationship.
Right.
But by making sure that their plan's actually going to work,
right,
and spending that, you want to call it extra time, then I'm more locked in, and they're going to come back to me.
Right.
They're going to tell their friends and family. We also do an email newsletter, like a monthly email newsletter.
Okay. What's content in that? We talk a lot about this. What's the content in the newsletter?
Content, it's been more like I've been letting my marketing team kind of handle it and run with it because they do a good job. But we usually have like, we try to do like some news around the area, so it's not all just like law.
That was my question. How much of it is 7 things to think about in your estate plan, and how much of it is not?
Yeah, so we try to lead with just kind of like something timely or something where people are kind of like a non-law related thing.
Okay.
But then we always have like a blog or a recent video on there.
Okay.
So there is always a topic that they can go to.
Okay.
But it's more about just staying in front of them.
100%.
And I know this, but you do a lot of content creation. Where are some of the platforms that you publish content, and what's the content look like for folks?
Yeah, YouTube. Do a lot of YouTube, and then I do like longer form interviews on YouTube, or I'll make videos, and then I'll cut them up into shorts, so they can go onto Instagram. Even started doing TikTok now.
Okay.
Facebook.
Yes, a lot
all the
of short-form
places.
social media.
Secrets for great content, right?
Just do it, huh? Authentic. I'd say authentic.
It is the Nike. Okay, authentic. Yeah.
So rather than scripted and rehearse, you want good audio, number one.
Yep.
And just be authentic. I struggle. Sometimes I try to do scripts and I have a teleprompter. But man,
I'm not using it.
it's hard.
Yeah.
Because I'll spend a long time, then I'll watch it and that sucks.
Right. And if you're doing it on YouTube, you can either, especially you've got glasses, I've got glasses, you can either see it happening, or you have trouble engaging with.
Or it's just like the dead eyes. I'll watch it back later and it's like, oh, I'm just trying to read.
Yeah.
That's what happens to me too. What else on marketing stuff? You mentioned a marketing team. I think a lot of listeners are interested in the idea of like, do you have full staff, or do you use fractionals, or do you outsource it? How's that look at your firm?
So I use, I outsource. So I have one person I've been working with for a while. She does, she writes for me. It's really great. I always say it's like, wow, like if I would have taken a lot of time, I was a little bit better writer, like.
Right.
So she writes in my voice, which is nice because
How did you make that happen? That's actually super important, really hard to pull off.
Yeah, so a long history of working together,
Okay.
and then back to the videos. So she'll take the videos that I do,
Yep.
and especially the videos where what I try to do, like if there's like a question that comes up, or like an interesting topic, I'll try to make a video about it.
Right.
And then she'll take that and turn it into a blog.
Okay.
So it actually is my writing and my voice.
How did you find her?
Just through my network.
Yeah.
So she's local. Through like a mental coach I use actually.
Oh, okay, cool.
So it's his wife actually.
Nice.
So I know that was a good connection because I know she's into like mindfulness and kind of my style. And it's been I think it's like almost a decade now, kind of sneaking up. We've been working together. So yeah, she really
doesn't happen overnight.
She really understands my voice now, and it's easy. I liked your talk at in Chicago at the Legal Tech Show about feeding the AI machine. It was very relevant because there is a temptation to kind of skimp out on the content.
Right.
And there were some people there, claiming that just have AI do everything, just pump everything out with AI. But I've always been, what you emphasize is, you don't want to put crap out there, right? And you don't want to kind of have a short guided focus, where you're just trying to game the AI algorithm.
Don't
And
trade
then-
visibility for trust.
Yeah.
I've heard that before.
I keep saying it.
That's why I've heard it before.
Yeah. What else? What else would you like the listeners to know about what you got going on? Anything? How can folks get in contact you or follow you online?
So they can follow me at my Mott Legal AI YouTube.
Okay.
So that's where I talk about things related to lawyers, the industry.
Spell that out for us, just sort of.
So M-A-A-T, Mott. So Mott is the Egyptian goddess of law and order. Where I got that.
Ah, did you know that?
I did not.
I
Learned something new.
Of everyone that I know, you're the person most likely to know that.
Egyptian mythology is actually my weakest mythology subject.
Yeah.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah. So it was available back then. When I was looking. I wanted something that wasn't my name.
Yeah.
Something different. So Mott Legal, and my YouTube is Mott Legal AI.
Okay.
So some fun reaction videos there. So I use creating content as networking.
Okay.
I also have a channel, a YouTube channel for my law firm, Rilus Law, and I've had some realtors reach out to me, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to do content?"
Yeah.
That's always a yes.
Yeah.
Do you want to do coffee?
Co-marketing with, especially in local services, like super powerful.
Yeah, so it's been great for both of us. There's one guy in Tucson, Arizona. He was like, "Hey, there's not many attorneys down here." He's like, "We should do some videos."
Right.
And it's been going great. Where we did just an interview, and then I have it edited later and turned into shorts and other things.
It's great.
That was really smart.
So.
Awesome.
Well, thanks. So I guess I'm here at this event. So to build there was talk about. I saw a post about MSO IPO. How it's eventually going to happen.
Yeah.
That's
And
Tell us what a little bit for folks that have no idea what you mean there. Tell us what that is.
so IPO. It's funny. I was talking to my teenage boys about this. You're gonna sign up.
Started early.
Yeah, I'm like, do you know what it is? I'm like, IPO is when a company sells their stock, like Apple. So any investor can go invest in Apple.
Right.
So the opportunity for legal, what this conference here is about, it's the very beginning of it. There's a lot of interest, people looking to invest into legal. So the next iteration of that, eventually there'll be one of these management companies that goes public.
Right.
So Mott Legal, my vision is an estate planning law firm that anchors the family wealth planning. So as the estate planning attorneys, they tell us everything, right? They tell us all the assets they own,
Sure.
all the family secrets.
right.
They usually need tax planning. They need financial planning. They need to sell houses.
Right.
So what I'm building is a national estate planning company that grows into the other areas as well.
Really smart. I mean, that's the thing that we've been talking about forever is that you're meeting clients in their needs and context across a variety of dimensions, just like instead of being focused in one. So for folks listening to that, I think that that's a really insightful approach.
Yeah, we see it going the other way. We see the financial advisor, especially in estate planning. Financial advisors are getting into estate planning.
Right.
Yes.
They're pushing documents. A lot of that's PE-led too. The
Right.
private equity companies, they have the software. They say, hey, financial advisors, you guys can pump out trust. It's a lot of business for me. I'm fixing those later. It's great. It's like garbage in, garbage out.
Good for you, bad for the customer.
Yeah. But what we haven't seen yet is where there's a legal company first that's generating the real estate and the financial. So that's what I want to build. That's what I think the market is ready for. That helps the public too, right? There's people pushing legal alternatives, but there hasn't been a good legal company. So that's what's nice. That's why I went to the MSO, because
Right.
I wanted a way to have investment,
Right.
so you can create a nice national brand.
Awesome. Ross, thanks so much for joining us for this segment of Lunch Hour Legal Marketing.
And thanks for having me.
Thanks so much.